Basically what I'm doing is I'm just, like I said, we had treated them for mites, so I'm going to check and see what's going on here. One thing with smoke, I don't know if you know a lot about beekeeping, but the smoke generally calms them, and how it calms them is they think the hive is on fire, so they will go and gorge themselves with honey.
Huh.
Because they think they might have to leave the hive. So if that happens, they have something to eat to go make a new hive. This is what's called a super, the smaller box. This is where they put surplus honey. And this is what I steal. This is what's called a queen excluder. What happens is you don't want the queen up here laying eggs in your super. So on some hives, I put these queen excluders on, and it keeps the queen from coming up. It keeps her down below. Now, this is all what's called burr comb. They've got honey in it and all that. Actually,
how much does honey weigh? Like how much would one of those weigh?
well, this here, when it's full of honey, will weigh about, just the honey, will weigh about 30 pounds.
Wow.
One of these boxes here will hold roughly around 70 to 80 pounds of honey. That's just the honey, that's not the box of the bees. These are the mite pads that I put on, okay? Which I'm going to take these off because they don't need to be on there anymore. All right, can you see that down in there? All right, that's honey that they're putting away. All right, actually it's nectar. Okay, once they get it down to a certain percentage of moisture, which is about, I think, 17%, it'll be honey. See, like this here is all capped.
Oh, okay.
All right, once it's capped, that means it's done. Okay. But the way honey is when they collect nectar, they actually, what happens is they put it into what is called a honey stomach, and it mixes with enzymes in their stomach, and it's actually these enzymes is what helps convert it to honey. Okay, you see this section right here, you see that solid stuff in there? That's what's called bee bread. Okay, it's pollen and honey mixed together. That's the protein that they feed the young. Without that, you wouldn't have healthy bees.
And why is it darker in color?
What's that?
The
comb?
Yeah, and the I guess honey inside of it.
Okay, the honey probably in there is probably more goldenrod honey.
Oh, okay. So it depends on maybe what they eat?
Yeah, it's dependent on the nectar that they're collecting at the time. Usually, like clover honey is more golden yellow, where you get into Japanese knotweed or goldenrod and it'll be darker in color.
So how often do you inspect hives?
In the spring, I normally inspect them every 10 days or so. But once we start getting into June, I check them like every couple of weeks.
And how many bees do you usually have per hive?
It depends on the time of year. In the summer, it can be up to 80,000 bees in a hive. All right, see all those dark cappings? That's all brood. That's all young that they're raising for the next generation. Okay? That means that the queen was laying about 18 days ago.
So hives have personalities, huh?
Yeah, and basically it all depends on the queen.
Okay.
The queen has a lot to do with it. If you have a real docile queen, you're going to have docile bees. If you have a queen that's a little bit more on the aggressive side, and if that's her nature, then you're going to have a little bit more aggressive bees. Some of these bees are kind of on the more aggressive side. These are bees that I got as a removal.
Okay.
They had swarmed, they were in somebody's house for a few years, and what happened is they're just, because of they're what is called a feral hive. They're more aggressive than your natural, not your natural, but your bees that you would buy as a package.
Okay.
Or bees as you would buy as a nuke box. A nuke box is 5 frames. It's this deep, but it's only 5 frames. It's half of a regular hive. And a lot of people buy that because they already have brood, they already have bees. If you buy a package of bees and you put them in a hive on foundation, they have to draw out the foundation, then the queen has to lay eggs. It takes 21 days for new bees to emerge. So you're about a month and a half behind everybody else.
Okay.
And a lot of times packages don't make it through the winter. So I found I like to get swarms or removal bees, but the only problem is they can be a little bit more aggressive. But on the other hand too, if they've made it a couple of winters inside somebody's wall,
then they're pretty hardy.
They're pretty hardy, and they're from our area, so they're acclimated to this climate.
Sure.
A lot of package bees comes from mostly like Georgia, South Carolina, Texas. They don't get
Winters like
really
we do.
cold winters like we do up here.